This meeting is being recorded.
Perfect. So it is time 7:33. I am calling this meeting to order. I'm going to begin with land acknowledgement first. Give me a quick second. Okay, yeah. Would like to begin by respectfully acknowledging that the town of Sullivan resides within the traditional territory and ancestral land of the Anishinaabe, including the Ojibwe, Potawatomi, Chippewa, and people of Three Fire Confederation. These traditional territories upon which we live, work, play, and learn are steeped in rich indigenous history and traditions. It is with this statement that we declare to honor and respect the past and present connection of Indigenous people with this land and its waterways and resources. We encourage residents to review the call to action information by visiting the following website to further research and educate themselves. And that website is www.dccrc.ca/educational links backwards. Introduction and announcement. We all are here just wanting to quickly gather some information from Alice. If someone had called in today and advised of their regrets, did we receive any regrets, Alice?
I did receive regrets from Jaya. She is unable to attend this evening. I did not receive regrets from Councillor Kyle Fegan. However, he does have an out of office on his email, so I'm taking that as a regret.
I see. Okay. No, thank you very much. Thanks for that. All right. Agenda was circulated to you yesterday. I'm hoping everyone had a chance to review the agenda. If so, I am looking for any amendment, anything, that suggestion you guys have it on that, or are we good to move forward with the agenda circulated? If that's the case, be it resolved that the Canada Day Committee adopts the agenda as presented. Can I have someone to make a motion for that? And that's Brian, and seconded by Alice. You can help me with this. I will second on that matter, and all in favor. So,
I see Len seconded.
Yes, thank you. Yes, and all in favor. We all do. Motion carried. Second portion is disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature. Therefore, members of the committees are required to state any pecuniary interest in accordance with the municipality conflict of interest. Do we have any conflict of interest to declare at this point? I'm seeing none. Perfect. Let's move on to the next part, 3.0, adoption of minutes. Minutes from the Canada Day Committee meeting held on Thursday, May 11, 2023, was attached to the agenda as an attachment 1. I'm sure everyone got a chance to review it. Is there any amendment to the minute that was circulated? I am seeing none. So if so, I'd like to move for the motion on that. Be it resolved that the meeting minutes from the Canada Day Committee meeting held on Thursday, May 11, 2023 be adopted as presented. We have someone to make a motion on that. That's Councillor Lennon, seconded by Crystal. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. The hardcore of our business starts from the event preparation. Just want to quickly gather some information for 4.0 event preparation, 4.1 sponsorship update, sponsorship forum. Just wanted to open the floor to see any updates from our members on the sponsorship forum. Can I start with Brian? Any updates from your end?
The only question I've had is for the car show sponsorship. People are wondering what they're getting for that.
That's a good question. Actually, until we hear from Alice, go ahead. I think you're probably in a better position to answer that.
So my understanding, based on the previous conversations that the committee had, that the car show sponsors are going to get the same options. That if they, depending on the level of sponsorship they choose, will determine what level of advertisement they get associated with their sponsorship, if they get a vendor space with the associated sponsorship. Does that answer your question, Brian? So there's no difference other than if they have a vendor booth, we're going to try to place, my understanding was the vendor booths for car show sponsors are going to be placed as close as possible to the car show area. You can correct me if I'm wrong.
That's an understanding. Any other updates, Brian, from your end?
I've only got the two sponsors that have said they're going to sponsor. We haven't got a list yet from Kyle, I guess. So that's kind of where
I guess, I guess we collectively agree last week, and unfortunately, I take it on me. Basically, I wasn't really feeling well. Even today, I'm just speaking from my lungs. Actually, you can hear me. But we collectively decided to, send out all those information to everyone, basically, so everyone be on page until we have that master list ready. Let's go ahead if you want to add on something.
So if I can just, since we don't know exactly when Kyle's going to be back and where he's at with that, if you just, at this point, because we're running out of time, the sponsorship forms are available on the website. We did email them to each of you. I can email them again, but I would strongly suggest if you have, just email everybody on the committee and indicate, I have reached out to this person, so that, and just pay attention to the emails. I know it's a little bit more complicated to do it that way, but we do only have a month to go. So we haven't received any in the office as of yet for sponsors. So I would just say, email the group, who you've contacted, if they have agreed to it, and then we can go from there.
Thank you, Alice. That's exactly my understanding was that as well. Just we can update each other until the list is ready. If so, can we move on to Len to hear from his side for the sponsorship?
I've spoken to one person who had a concern about the whole the zone. Sorry, the one we discussed at the last meeting with Ken, and whether or not they would receive the same kind of billing, so to speak. It is another real estate agent, and so that was their only hesitancy. So yeah, that's the only person that I've had time to chat with.
Is it the exposure they're wondering about, or is it something, the space where they'll be assigned at the
well, I guess their concern, or their big concern is that they're not going to be putting on their own kids entertainment zone, and they will be one booth as opposed to the I guess their concern is being dwarfed by even though they're going to be paying the same amount of sponsorship. If they choose to go that level, they're like going to be one 10 by 10 booth as opposed to a whole stack of fun and entertainment for kids. So that was their only hesitancy.
I see. I see. Could we basically maybe reach out maybe alternate way of having, and that's just my thought on that as well. Like, I mean, we can, if they're interested, basically stage, we can, and this is what I've seen it from Orangeville one, and that's why I'm actually bringing this up, because the Orangeville had the Blue and Jazz Festival. They have a TV stage, main stage, whatnot. So their name is associated, stage name is associated with their company name, basically. So something along that line, maybe that might be beneficial for them, that they get a bigger recognition when it comes to.
Right.
Yeah,
I would equate it to, hypothetically, let's say one car manufacturer sponsoring the car show, which is going to be however many cars it is, 50, 60 cars, and a huge acreage. And another car manufacturer coming in with a 10 by 10, booth. So the optics of what they're, getting
yeah,
for
yeah.
what they're paying isn't the same. Anyway, that's the only concern that I've come up with thus far.
Can I mention something about that?
Sure.
Yes, sure.
So my name's Sarah. I'm from Keller Williams. Ken's not on here yet. I don't know if I can put my video on, or I'll have to work that out. The only thing that I would mention is that I understand we're trying to create this fun zone, but we're also creating it to attract more people to the event so that there's stuff going on at the event. So that's kind of the difference between somebody having a booth there versus Keller Williams spending more, maybe not by booth, but a lot of money in entertainment to put something on for the kids to be there and the people to be there and attract people there.
Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, but that's, we can take that aside. Thank you, Sarah, for sharing your thoughts on that. Could I possibly hear from Crystal next on the sponsorship update?
Excuse me, I don't have a ton of update on the sponsorship. That's kind of where I'm at. I was hoping to get the spreadsheet list like we all were to kind of know who had done what. I also reached out to another one, but I'll send it in the email chain. But that's where I'm at. I haven't had the questions others have, which is fantastic for me.
That's awesome. Thank you. Cheryl, any update from your end?
Yes, as well. I'm waiting on the list from Kyle, but I spoke to somebody and she hasn't got back to me yet. So that's it. Sorry. Yeah.
No worries. Amy?
I have one that's going to be a sponsor. I kind of thought they already submitted the forms, but Alice, you're saying the town hasn't received any forms yet? Okay, I'll follow up with them, make sure they're doing all right. Their only question was, on the website, when you go to like submit the form, doesn't actually say anywhere the time of the event. So I know that's something we're still sort of talking about. So I assume once we make that decision, then it'll be on that page.
That's correct, and that's going to come out through our social media channel, basically, when we start posting things in event and timelines and so on. Alice, you have something to add on it?
Yeah, anyone that files paperwork with the town, whether it be sponsor or vendor, prior to the times being finalized, I will make sure that I reach out to them and ensure that they are aware of what the times when they are finalized.
Perfect. Thank you. Crystal, what comment, follow up?
Yes, sorry, end of day brain. I did speak to Blissful Treats, who was committed to sponsoring. He'd actually already planned to before I approached, which is great. He also says hi, Samir. So he was prepared before our committee, I think, was even formed to come back. So I'll remind him again tomorrow just about the forms.
Just on speaking on the same note, actually, I just met him like about half an hour ago, and he said you already reached out to him, and I basically didn't want to reach out to him like that. It's just a business matter that I was doing, going for, and he said yes, he's in. He just wanted to bring the forms. So I'll drop him off the forms and other business that we have it that I need to go see him anyway tomorrow. So I'll drop those forms off to him. But yes, definitely that he's very excited with that. So thank you, Crystal, for taking care of that area. So if no one, I do have, and once again, Alice, I'm quite surprised that that Brian, before I take yours, I just wanted to quickly go through the businesses that I reached out, and then we'll take your question, okay, if you don't mind. So the businesses that I reached out within the last 2 weeks, within our Summerhill Plaza, basically dentistry at the Summerhill, Pharmasale, Pizza Hut, Marble Slab, they just opened recently about last week, Jamaica House, and Dalgety in Orange Road. So I reached out to those businesses, and my understanding was just like Crystal's, Amy's, that they've already submitted things, but I'll just follow up with them in a day or two to see where they are at. But yes, those are my updates as far as the reaching out. Also, I mentioned about Tim Hortons owner John and Megan. I did reach out to him, John, again, to just follow up on what's his thought on sponsoring the event, like his musical band sponsorship event kind of thing like that. But he had reached out to me. He said, Samir, I'm already sponsoring the public swimming at CDRC, and he's been doing it for ages, because like this has been for me, it's an ongoing contribution to the Canada Day. So I basically, on a follow-up email, I told him about how CDRC and Canada Day Committee are two different event organizers, but we collectively provide the one information to the town that is accessible to them, and so on. So he's kind of looking to that as well. He may sponsor, I'm not sure, but I'm kind of, my shoulders are down in getting big sponsorship from him. That's what I was actually, I'm going into that. But yeah, that's the update from me. Sorry to keep you waiting, Brian. Sorry, go ahead. You had comment, question, anything?
Sorry, I was just reading the business directory. My thought was kind of, because most of the businesses are all kind of lumped together, what if we just like split up like streets type of thing, and you're responsible for that street, like just like you just did all the plaza. I'm on Industrial Road, so I could do all Industrial Road. Someone could do like half of Main Street. Someone could do Owen Sound Street. I thought maybe that's the easiest way if we just divide it up regarding street-wise.
It's kind of difficult to pinpoint who's going to cover which area, but I would say at this moment it's our job to reach out. Even if we double dip it, I mean, it's no harm. It's a strong message that we are here to work for, or to make this event more enjoyable or more fun for our town residents. So I wouldn't hesitate, even if one of my member had I known before, that's a different story. But if I've not known that this individual was reached out by someone else, I mean, I wouldn't mind. But again, it's not my opinion that matters. It's the committee that take that voice and deliver that commitment. So yeah. Also, just one, I'm not pointing or saying anything, but if you are not on a speaker's list, if you can just keep your phone, or if you can put yourself in a mute, that would be really appreciated. That just basically avoid background noises and so on. So just to be cognizant of that area. All right. Moving on to Alice, do we need anything at this point? from the committee?
No, there's nothing needed. It was just an opportunity for you to discuss where you're at.
Perfect. Yes, exactly. And I strongly suggest everyone to basically circle back again, just like myself. I'm just gonna follow up with my whoever I reached out. Once again, just strongly, go back to them and see where they are at, and if they have any question. Sometimes they are basically you updated with everything, but they have a question they didn't ask you or didn't get a chance to ask you this question. Maybe an opportunity to circle back with them and ask for that commitment. This is the time we need more commitment rather than leaving things right in their hand. Whether yay or nay, we just need to move on to that. So I am very confident on all of you that you have that everything within your capability to take care of that area individually. Moving on to 4.2, event outline, timings of the event. I know Amy had mentioned, or Crystal had mentioned earlier about the timings. You have to confirm. Only time that we know it's confirmed is the public swim, which is from 1 to 3 at CDRC. That's the only time that we are basically that we know that's the timing. Rest of the timings are still up in the air depending on how things are shaping up for us. And that, having said that, basically we need to get more updates from the CARSO committee as well, see where they are at, and so on. So that helps us shape this timing properly, basically, in that matter. Opening ceremony, 4.3, but I'm just gonna, before I jump into 4.3, I just wanna, anyone have any question, any thoughts on event outline? I'm just gonna open the floor. If you can just raise your hand and unmute yourself to speak. Yes, Brian, go ahead.
Have we got any people interested in being vendors yet? Like have we had other businesses wanting just to be a vendor, like instead of doing sponsorship, just going through as a vendor?
I have not heard. I mean, the people that I reached. Alice, go ahead. Sorry, you'd be probably better.
Yeah, sorry, I was going to update that in 4.4, but I can do that now if you like.
Go for Alice. Floor is
Okay.
yours.
Okay, so we have received one vendor application, and it is for hot food items. So I have the form. I don't yet have their fee, but I have emailed with them, and they will be coming into the office to pay the fee. They have already provided the insurance, and they've indicated that they have applied for their public health forms as required. They're just waiting for those, and will forward those on to me as soon as they have them. So, but that is the only one.
Fantastic. Brian, any other question, follow up? Good stuff. Anyone else? The floor is yours. I guess at this point, we are talking about even outline. Any other questions, suggestion, anything that you guys have that we can discuss? I am seeing none. Okay, so until we have the proper structure of CARSO and other agenda item or other events in our event timeline highlights, basically, I think we'll just wait until that time frame to take that decision on timings and so on. 4.3, opening ceremony. Councilor Figgin already mentioned about who's going to be there and whatnot. We just need to let them know about timings. Once again, we are on that. But very important thing is the sound system requirement, I believe. Since Len is online, and if we can get some update from you, Len.
There will be sound. Okay, Kyle and I are gonna, at some point in time when he's back, I mean, I've been out there and had a look at it, and I kind of know what's what we're going to do in terms of sound. There should be more than enough sound for the event. That is not a concern.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Any question, committee? Anyone have any question about sound system, anything like that? This is an opportunity. I am seeing none. Let's go move on to the 4.4 vendor market. Since Sarah is here, and I know I'm jumping ahead of that, but I was wondering if or unless we're waiting for Ken to join Sarah, I mean, if we can definitely turn the floor to you for your update.
I'm hoping that Ken will be here soon.
No worries, no worries, that's fine.
Okay.
No worries, that's fine, that's fine. So let's just continue with our agenda, moving into that 4.4 vendor market, food zone, timing is open to close, food trucks, all members. Any update on that? Anyone has any update on food trucks? Alice, you go ahead.
Yes, so as I've indicated, we did receive one. If you are talking to others and they indicate that they have submitted it, could you just reach out to me or have them reach out to me, and we can just double check things in the background, make sure that there's not a broken link on the website or something like that. Because so if they're telling you they've submitted forms, if you could just please have them contact me or yourself contact me real quick, just so we can make sure nothing's getting lost in the background. We've tried to set it up right, but yeah, we can sometimes break links unintentionally on the website. So that's just my request for forms.
Perfect. No, thank you. So yes, we will definitely, all of us are committed to basically reach out to our individual that we already reached out and, you know, get that update from them. Public health forum, progress update from subcommittee, that will be including myself and Jaya. Thank you. Thank you, Jamie, for forwarding those forms. I was looking into that. I did email back to Jaya about her availability to complete those forms. I know we are doing a tight timeline on that, and my commitment to get it done by this week at least. That was my ask, and that's I'm going to deliver whether Jaya is going to be there or not. But I was actually hoping to get that filled out and, you know, submit that forms that you had asked us to complete that. And thanks for your information on sharing those information about previous years forms. So that's definitely a guideline for me to work on it in case. So that's the only update I have it. I'm basically waiting for my partner in crime, so to speak, to work with it together to move on to those forms. Picnic table update. Crystal, over to you.
There we go. So I saw Sue last weekend, but didn't have a chance to speak to her. So that is on my to-do list for tomorrow.
Retail zone, once again, timing yet to confirm. At this moment, we're saying open to close. Anyone has any update onto the vendor forms for the retail zone? As I believe that was a earlier question from Brian about the vendor on that. So I have nothing on my plate for the public health forum at this point on a retail zone. So until that, it's basically we're waiting for that collaboration to kick in, and, you know, we get that opportunity, or you get an opportunity to keep us busy, you know, with those forms. So that's your opportunity to work on it, and from our side, basically, we will be working on this public health forms and making sure things are done right with the help of Jamie and Alice in that manner. Activity zone, moving on to 4.4C, activity zone. Timings, once again, yet to decide. We have to decide maybe forecast.
Sorry, Samir, Jamie had a comment.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you, Alice, for poking me. Really appreciate that. Jamie, go ahead.
Yeah, and sorry, I was trying to look for where you raised the hand and I couldn't find it. So I'm like, I'm here. I just wanted to add in just a few pieces before you move into activities. Samir, if you need help with the public health organizer form, I'm happy to arrange a call or email back and forth and kind of get that done and support you and Jaya the best way possible. And then I just kind of wanted to reiterate, similar to what Alice said in terms of the sponsorship forms, for vendors, whether they're food or retail, it's really kind of a crucial time to make sure you're making those connections with local businesses or folks that you think would want to be a part, because in order to have a vendor zone, you're going to need vendors. So just keeping that in mind with the month we have until the event date, it's kind of time to start rocking and rolling and get those contacts out and make sure that they are getting those documents in on time. So that's just the only two comments I had.
Thank you, Jamie. And I'm sure our social media guru that we appointed during the last meeting will be working hard onto this. And it is, as we all committed before even joining this committee or things like that, basically it's our collective responsibility to make sure that we send this message strong and loud to the public or to the residents of town itself, and basically and across as well. So I'm waiting for that first post to come out. Crystal, at this point, I guess I know the gun is on your head right now, but I'm sure you'll come up with something that we can all share. Maybe just as we talk about it, just maybe the place and event that's basically happening at that happening at Fido Park. That's probably the initial post that I would start with it. But again, happy to basically look for that first post coming out from you. Go ahead, Crystal.
So yeah, I was going to update when we got kind of the social media part, but I still need access to the Facebook page, and I understand Councillor Fegan has some internet access issues until he returns. But I did make a post for my personal page and did share it in the Shelburne group just to let people know it was coming. I don't want to post too much for my personal page since I'm just me and would prefer to do it, but I don't want to keep waiting. So I have made a post along the exact lines that you were talking about, Samir. But as soon as I get access, it'll be a lot more frequent.
Perfect. Yeah, and maybe another way of looking into that like I know you mentioned about Facebook and different platforms and so on. Onto the Facebook, we have I think the multicultural group as well. Maybe we can reach out to them and say, could you please help us post those on your platform as well? So something that we can all collectively work together. There's a Facebook page. It's a Shelburne community, I guess. We can basically start posting on that area as well. So if I see that, definitely, I first of all, I'm gonna have to find you. I'm so sorry. I'll have to find you and see your post, and maybe I can start sharing with other group as well. So something that we can, reach out to within community, the groups. Maybe we can. There's a clubs basically. We can start curling clubs, cricket clubs. Those areas we can cover them as well, and maybe the CDRC, we can ask them to post those events as well for us. So something that is for food for thoughts on that. Yeah, so I can make sure that the post is public on my page. So when you find me, you can just share it. Perfect. Wherever until the actual page is accessible. Perfect. Thank you. Sounds good. All right. I was thinking I was speaking from the once, but again, I'm actually feeling a lot better now. Sorry, Brian's got his hand up. Oh, sorry. Thank you very much, because this is the drop. Like I'd say, it's not a nice thing to access this from a browser rather than Zoom platform itself. Go ahead, Brian. Sorry.
This is maybe for Alice that can answer this. Is Kyle the only one that has access to the town boards, like the light up boards by the beer store and the town? Just wonder if we could put like vendors accepting vendors for Canada Day on that. I'm not sure if the fire department is part of the town's board. I don't know who looks after
The
that.
town is already advertising on our social media that we're looking for vendors and sponsors. That I have already seen that on the town's Facebook for sure. I know it's been shared by Country 105 on their Facebook page. I will double check if it's on the electronic boards. I'm not certain if it's on there, but I know it was discussed, so I'll double check that it's on there.
Great question, Brian.
I would just add to that is once the committee has, imagery and verbiage, that can easily be reshared by our communications team as well. So if you have something together and you wanted to send it along, we can reshare on our pages as well.
Thank you, Jenny, for the offer. Definitely, Crystal is making note on that, and we'll be reaching out shortly on that. So if I may, I can move on to 4.4, C activity zone. I know, Amy, we've been asking asking you to update on this. If you have developed any other story beside the Keller Williams Zoom that we are having, anything from your end for the activity?
So I started reaching out to Midways, and we kind of already decided like we weren't going to be able to find one for this year, but I started asking for next year. And so for all the ones that have responded back to me, they have kind of a set rotation of events that they go to, so they aren't available for our day. I still have some more waiting to hear back from, so hopefully by next meeting I'll hear back from all of them, and then we'll know if we'll be able to have a Midway next year.
Perfect. Thank you very much. This is what I love about this committee, is basically not just thinking about this year, but thinking way in advance going into the next year as well. So that's great. With that, I am going to turn the floor to Keller Williams Fund Zone team, I would say, Sarah and Ken, if Ken is
okay. So Ken is going to be on in a couple minutes. He just called me. He's on his way upstairs to the office to come on. So I'm hoping he'll be here in a minute. But basically, I'm not sure where he's left off since the last meeting when he was in here. Oh, and I think he's just getting on there now. Yes, there he is.
Welcome, Ken, and over to you for your update.
Hi, thanks for waiting. Sorry I'm late, but sometimes we got to sell real estate in this business, and that's how we pay the bills. So, can everybody hear me okay?
Yes, very well.
Okay, good. So happy to report that we met. We met Jamie and Brad from Public Works at Fiddle Park yesterday. We actually blew up a couple of, or one of these balloons or things. We have a good picture of Jamie in it. We should send to all committee members. And anyway, I think we got it mapped out. We're feeling pretty good about it. I'm looking at across the room. I'm looking at a bike here that I'm going to give away out of our my branded tent. So I think we're going to do okay. Feeling pretty good about it.
Thanks, Ken. I'm sure committee might have some questions for you in that matter.
Sure.
So I'm opening the floor. If anyone has any question for Ken.
Yeah, let her rip.
Alice, I'm sorry, Brian, go ahead.
Ken,
yeah.
I did the flyer. I distributed the flyers to the schools last year.
Yep.
I don't know if anyone knows how many kids there are in the public schools this year. I don't know who we find that out from.
Well,
there's enough flyers.
What I could do is, my wife's a teacher at the Highland Heights. I could probably ask her how many at that school, and then we just multiply it by How many schools we got now? 3? Like, up to grade 8 anyway. I don't know how many high schoolers come to this thing or participate. They'll be there with their hoods up and not want anyone to see them acting cool and all that kind of stuff. But I think we could get a rough kind of estimate, if that's fair.
Because I think last year I did 800, and I'm not sure if it's gone up from that or not.
So
I don't think so.
I can
Oh, yeah.
tell you, so I'm the co-chair of the Highland Heights Prairie Council. There's roughly 500 in that school for Highland Heights.
In Highland Heights, okay, so. And that's, and then we have Glenbrook and Centennial Highlands, right? Are you going?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, all right. So I'm gonna say that's, 1,500, 12 to 1,500, maybe.
I can do Primrose too if you want.
Yeah, no, and that's fine too. Like, so, but that's a lot of paper, a lot of stuff.
I hope you have a big raffle basket.
Well, so I think I've told, the problem we had last year with the size of the ticket was the thing was jammed full, and then you're spinning it to mix up the tickets, but you're not mixing, you know what I mean? So what we'd like to propose this year is, so in terms of your brochure, if you will, that you're handing out to the schools, is if we were to supply you with something on the bottom third of the page, be it tickets and draws or whatever that we're promoting, and then the committee would have the top 2/3 for their message, and then when those kids come back to us to submit their ticket or whatever, we could cut it out, rip it off, whatever, just to make it a little more, a little smaller, a little more easy to manage.
Something that basically committee can look into that for sure. Thanks for the offer, and then we'll definitely look into that and we'll get back to you on that.
Okay. Sure.
Any further question? Alice, go ahead.
Amy had her hand up first, and then I'll go after Amy. Thanks.
Thank you for keeping an eye on. Amy, over to you.
I'm just going to ask if you've decided on how much space that you need.
So we did measure with Jamie. We had one of those measuring wheels yesterday, and I think we talked about I want to say it was about 100 by 100. There's an area of grass, if you will, that's right beside the pavilion, and basically, oh, there you go. Yep. So yeah, that's exactly it. We had it drawn a little more of a square, but we weren't sure about there's an area over to the edge of the swale that, depending on weather leading up to the event, may or may not be any good. Because if it rains, that's going to fill with water. But it might be good because we're also having some people are going to bring some cornhole games. We've got some other thing we've bought here from. It's like you throw balls in it and try to get them to line up in 4 in a row or something like that. Connect 4. I heard. I won't mention any names, but I think there's someone going to try to put together a tug of war in the community, some things like that. So, yeah, that's kind of what we're talking about in terms of space.
So space is 100 by 100, I guess that's what you're asking, and then basically, I think Alice shared a quick map on where it be. Question from my end, basically, at a time when we have all those balloon, so to speak, right now at this point, how many kids can go on at a time on a one circle? Like, I mean, do you have any timeline, approx timeline, as well as time frame that takes from A to B, and
yeah, so yeah, so what we're thinking, so to be honest, is we have 10 of these balloons, and we think a 10-minute game and then a 5-minute changeover, because it's going to be there's straps, there's handles inside these balloons, so it's going to take several people, some assistance from several people to get these kids changed in and out. That would give us 4 games an hour times your 4-hour time slot, I guess. So in terms of, I guess it'd be 40 kids an hour, we could probably do 160 in 4 hours. Now, we had a suggestion, and it's up to the committee, is if the event starts at 4 o'clock, is there any harm in us advertising to clients and friends and even our own kids in an hour or two leading up to the event? That way, our connected families, nephews, kids, like our own kids, stuff like that, they could take advantage before the clock starts at 4 o'clock, and that way we're not taking that opportunity away from the kids of the public who are trying to recruit to the event. So that's just a thought for the committee. We could offer that to, however we want to market it, but clients, family, friends, that kind of stuff, and then gets them out of the way so that at 4 o'clock it's kind of general public kind of thing. Because I do think that even at 160 kids, there's going to be some long faces at 8:05 that maybe never got an opportunity. So, and that's, we want to be, what we're trying to do here is create fun and have a great image. We don't want anyone leaving speaking poorly about us because they didn't get a turn, if you know what I mean.
That's definitely, we'll take it back as a committee. Alice, go ahead if you wanna, or if you wanna hold on to that. If I can hear from Len first, if you don't.
Yeah. Thanks.
Sorry, Alice. Just a quick one, Ken. Any chance you could open for friends and family at 2, and then have?
Oh yeah, from 2 to 4, like.
Yeah, like like your 2 to. You said you were going. The first hour would be for friends, family, and clients and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, we
could bump that. It's up to you.
We could certainly do 2 to 4, and like I said, if we could get, if you could get 100 kids through, that's great. It's just
no problem.
No, we could do 2 to 4. That's fine. And I should note that we had talked about advertising our wares to some similar business types. We do have a commitment from a local mortgage agent who's going to bring some, I don't know if it's inflatable, but it's a safe axe throwing game or something like that. Cruson Insurance has offered to provide snow cones free of charge to people. And then of course we'll have our tents. I'm giving away a bike. I haven't, Dave and Claire aren't here right now, but I'm sure they won't go unmatched without something. So I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Over to you, Alice.
Okay, so question that I had, Ken, was can you please forward to me so I can forward to the committee any logo that you want used in advertising for sponsorship purposes? That was number one. Second question that I had for you was that you had indicated previously that you weren't sure if 4 to 8 was going to be enough time, and maybe we could extend the time. So the committee had talked about opening things up at 3 o'clock potentially. Again, as mentioned before you got here, we haven't quite settled on the timing yet. So if we opened it up, is your team comfortable with 3 to 8? And then as Len mentioned, 2 to 3 being, for those preferred family, friends, customers, and then 3 to 8 being open to the public. Is that going to give you enough time? Because you were indicating previously that you weren't sure you were going to have enough time.
No, anything you can give us is helpful. What we don't want to do is further task the committee with, because you're like everything, you're going to be stretched thin already, I'm sure. But what we want to prevent, we want to have as many kids leave with a smile on their face as possible. And if we can open up at 2, that's fine. We don't, we wouldn't prevent someone from joining, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So to the committee, just on that comment, then it actually might be beneficial to have them have it open up so that people are already using it as the general public are arriving. It will already draw interest for the general public. They'll see people already doing the activity. It will draw attention to the activity, in my opinion. So that's just my comment in that regard for that. And then the only other question, Ken, I just wanted to touch base, make sure we're doing some sort of waiver liability insurance for the town.
So certainly we'll have, because what I envision in my mind is we're a spot where kids could sign up rather than wait in line. We don't want to create, Disneyland where you're waiting for 2 hours for a 10-minute ride, but maybe they could sign up for the 3:15 game or the 4:30 game and come back. And if we can do that, then absolutely. Now I don't have my fingers on a waiver or something like that. If there's anybody that has that knowledge or whatever, we can certainly have people fill it out.
Jamie and I will reach out to you with a standard form that the town uses to make sure that it includes the information that the town requires.
Okay, and we are working with Crucian Insurance about
Perfect.
a rider. Is that a thing? A rider?
Yep. Okay, that's perfect. Thank you.
Above and beyond our normal insurance requirements. Okay. And then just so everyone's aware, because I know that there's some scuttlebutt in the community about, the deal we're getting or whatever, but we just paid the bill today for those bubbles. 10 bubbles was $3,500. Now it's not, what we're hoping to do is use this again and again. So maybe over the course of this year and next year, we're dividing that cost over 4 events, but a big hit today for sure. So if someone's kind of griping about their $100 tent or 10 by 10 tent, hey, if they're more than welcome to pay up $3,500 and bring in something, equivalent.
Well, thank you, Ken. Thank you for sharing this information about the requirements and so on. We appreciate that. Any further question from committee? Well, we have Ken and Sarah, both of them are here.
So if I could ask a question, I don't know, is there any activities coming from the committee? Like we were hoping that we wouldn't be the only show in town. We were hoping to add to complement.
Yeah.
So speaking on behalf of committee, basically, Ken, I'm just going to give you a little bit more information around about the other activities. We were looking into the other activities. Our member Amy was actually asking, or actively looking into the other areas, but we were kind of a little late in timing wise. So at this moment, I'm going to say no. We don't have any beside the CARSO, and I would say in terms of the activity I'm talking about, we do have emergency response team will be coming in. We are hoping to hear more update from our entertainment area and see what we have it, and then the CARSO. So that those are the most highlighted event at this moment we have it. And the swimming pool. That's the only thing that we have on our plate right now. Okay. Were you thinking for something else? Alice, go ahead.
So on that topic, I was going to get to it after this, but it fits here. The committee had asked me to reach out to the staff members that are coordinating the 6 events in the park for the entertainers and activity providers for those, to see if any of those would be willing to come to this event as well. And I was informed that I cannot get their contact information, but those individuals reached out to them directly and asked if they would be interested, and if so, to contact me. But I have not received any, no one has contacted me indicating any interest. So unless anyone on the committee knows any of those individuals, entertainers, performers, activity people that are going to be at the 6 events in the park, that is a dead end for me at this point from providing information to the committee.
Thank you, Alice, for that information. Sarah, you have your hand up.
So
Question, comment?
I just wanted to double check. You had said previously that there was only one vendor signed up. Does that mean only one food vendor, or is there no other businesses or activities signed up right now except for Keller Williams?
That is correct. Only Keller Williams and one food vendor.
Okay.
Crystal?
I was just going to add, we do have verbal commitments. So we're just trying to navigate whether it is like a website issue, because we do have commitments from other, like verbally from other vendors. So they won't be the only ones we have. We're just trying to navigate if it's a matter of getting in or if there's an issue on our side of receiving.
Okay.
Thank you, Crystal. And that's similar thought at Sarah as well, because I did reach out to quite a few businesses. Also, I reached out to the RBC Bank assisting. I spoke with him as well, and I'm going to see him next week again to see what he has to bring for the Canada Day event. So stay tuned, more to come on that. But definitely will be yourself only in that area. So, but yeah. Any other question?
If I could ask, how will you be marketing, or do you know, the Canada Day activity? So I know there's going to be some flyers go to the school, and you've got some social media pages and things like that. But on the day of the event, is there signs or anything that pointing, Canada Day festival this way or anything like that?
Alice?
So other than we will be advertising on social media, we will be advertising on the town's page in the Shelburne Free Press, but the advertising is one of the next couple items on the agenda for the committee to discuss further.
Sure. Okay. So whatever you decide, if you just kind of let me know, we're just curious how that.
Yep. And that's why I was asking to make sure I get a logo or something from you to make sure
Gotcha.
that is included as
We'll get you
sponsorship.
we'll get you those first thing tomorrow.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Brian?
I'm not sure if it was Alice or Jamie who had the picture of the park there laid out. If they could put that back up, I'm not sure. Because Kyle's not here, the car show last year did a revving competition, or whatever you want to call it, right on the edge of that driveway between the public parking and where Ken is proposing to do his thing. Is that going to create a problem, Ken? Because it will be loud and smelly, and there is some flames that come out of some of the cars.
Yeah, no, we're not. Other than my personal feeling of maybe some annoyance from somebody revving up their car, I don't think it'll have a. I don't think it will have an impact on us. I still shake my head at if I have a nice car and I spend all that money, then why would I do that? But again, I'm not a car guy, so I'll leave that in their hands. But I don't think it's going to cause a problem. We won't be. You'll see that red line next to the swale. We're going to be closer to the pavilion than we are to the swale, so I'm not worried about that.
Okay.
Just sorry, can we pull that map up just for a sec? Did we establish where the car show was actually going to be? It doesn't show that on that map.
So last year, Len, the car show was kind of where it says public parking and where the pavilion is. It was kind of in that area.
Yeah.
I assume that's probably where they're going to do it again.
Okay. Great.
No problem. Not 100% sure, but where Ken is proposing, that's where we had all the food last year too. So we have to figure out where we're going to put food, and on the other side of the pavilion, closer to the house there, or the Canette's kitchen, or whatever we call that, we had a lot of people. I was helping do some of the parking, wanting wheelchair accessibility closer to the pavilion, so they were all parking in there. So And that's something we kind of have to keep in mind too, is the accessibility for people that are in walkers or scooters or whatever. But so I don't see a problem where they are. It's just we have to determine where everything else is going to go.
Gotcha.
Thank you. Thank you all for all those information. That's great. Do we have any further question before we Ken is with us? So if there is any final question, we could just circle it back. If not, we can move on with our agenda for the day.
It looks good, Ken.
Well, I appreciate it. Have you guys seen the bubble yet? Has the committee seen a picture of this thing?
Not with Jamie.
No. No, here, I'll,
Can you hop in one, Ken, and bounce around for us?
I can send you a picture. I won't put the picture of Jamie up there because, you know, I appreciate her. But I've just sent one to Alice of me in this bubble we've taken yesterday. I know, Alice, if you have access to your email there, you could throw it up there, but that's what we're talking. There's 5 blue, 5 red. And then it's just a normal soccer ball. We're going to hope that we can borrow a couple of the smaller nets from the soccer club and set it up that way. Okay. Any luck there, Alice?
It's just loading. Bear with me.
All right, cool.
Oh my God.
I'm trying
Good
to make
timing.
it bigger.
So yeah, there's you see my hands there holding on to two handles, and then there's some straps that go over your shoulders like a backpack kind of thing, and you snug them up to fit. So anyway, that's what it looks like. Yep.
Do they squeak when they hit each other? Just curious.
Do they which, sorry?
Do they squeak when they hit each other? I mean, like, you know, like a squeaky toy.
Oh, I'm sure they do. And they seem to be well built. Like it has a bit of weight to it, and the plastic is quite thick. So
no, they look good.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what we're proposing. We've got them all in stock now. But yeah.
Is there a height restriction, like so your head sticks out and your feet?
No, that's there was 2 options: a 5-foot bubble and a 6-foot bubble, and I think we went with the 5-foot. I think. Oh, look at that! There she is. That wasn't me, Jamie. Just saying.
I took it upon myself to forward.
Was your head inside the bubble, Jamie?
Yeah, with the straps on, but I just we didn't tailor the straps as much. It was just a quick, just put it together, put it on.
Yeah, and the color is all in the back of the bubble. The front of both sets is clear, and then the color is in your back, so you can still see through it. You know, it's a little bit distorted or whatever, but it's a clear plastic.
Great. Looking good. Looking forward for those activities. At least my son for sure. So yes, thank you very much for your support going into this Canada Day event, and we look forward to connect with you back again with more details that you'd ask and timings and so on. So definitely something that is noted, and we'll I'm sure Alice will reach out to you with all those details that you requested. Any further clarification, anything you're seeking from the committee, or vice versa, if the committee has any question? This is the last round. We can move on.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes, go for it.
When do you guys think the flyers are going to go out to the school? We're just trying to figure out when you need, if we're going to be making artwork to put on the flyer, when you would need that by.
Unless you have
Sooner is always better than later. I would like to have something that the committee can approve within the next week or so.
Okay. Because when it's all done? anybody
Brian, there's a question, comment, follow up?
I'd like to be able to put the flyers in the school by no later than the 16th of June. So,
Okay.
because the school, I guess they're going late this year, aren't they?
They let out
29
at
June.
the 29th.
Yeah. 29 June.
So from the 16th to the 20th is when I'd like to start handing them out to the school so they get them home.
Okay.
So,
Okay. And then I guess, how many more meetings would you have before the event? Like we're going to be June next week. Two more? Okay. Fair enough.
perfect. So thank you very much for your time today. Sarah, I know you checked in early just to make sure the spot is there, but we never forget anything about that at all. So thank you for being with us today, and Seth and Ken, thank you for joining. I know you have business to do it, but again, it's fine. You're more than welcome to stay should you wish to. We're going to continue on to our agenda item here. So moving on to the agenda item 4.4D. I know Kyle is not with us today, but getting information from him last time, things are under control regarding the emergency response team. So we're just gonna wait and get a final update from him as soon as he joins us in the next meeting. For the time being, let's move on to 4.4E, entertainment zone. We have DJ update. I'm not sure if Len had any comment to make on that or any.
So
I know subcommittee. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so Kyle and I had a couple of conversations. We've because things are kind of late. We should have been booking bands back in January, February. So unfortunately, so far I have one kind of band on standby. I'm just waiting back to hear from them. The band, we had a 10-piece band that was interested, and unfortunately they are not able to make it. I reached out to Sandy Heron. Sandy has agreed to do a 30 to 40 minute set for us for $150. Kyle and I kind of had that conversation, and we've kind of tentatively booked Sandy to open. There is another band that I'm kind of speaking with, and they're kind of local, and I will know by next Tuesday or Wednesday what their status is, if they're available. And yeah, and then failing that, we've got sound going out into the park. We've got sound off the stage. Worst case scenario, we have Sandy, and then I can always play some music to keep things light and lively. So worst case scenario, we will have entertainment that evening. Yeah, so it's not, that's where we're at right now. Yeah, Brian?
All right.
Have you reached, I know they're an older band, but Gord McDonald, he has a band. I could reach out to him, see if he's interested, his band playing.
Well, let me hear back from the band that I was speaking with, and we can, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of where we're at right now. If they're available, that's fine. I don't know how much they want. I know Kyle and I discussed, I think we had $1,000 on the budget for entertainment, which isn't, you know what I mean? Like, isn't that money?
I usually get them for the parade, right? So
yeah.
I can see what I can get them for.
Right.
It's usually just a 4-piece band, but they're all country music. Like, they're not going to be playing like the Tragically Hip or anything like that either. So
right. Okay, the band that I'm talking to they play a bit of everything. So country, folk, rock.
I prefer that, someone that has a variety of genre. So
perfect, thank you. Crystal, you have a question, follow up, add on to anything?
Just to follow up, if by the next meeting, because that's one meeting kind of away, we don't have it kind of solidified, we can post on social media, because there could definitely be people in town that we don't have connections with that do have. We can use our social media to kind of source if it's not more solid by next meeting, because I don't think we should wait any longer than that, or we're going to have an empty stage and we're the entertainment, which isn't ideal. So
absolutely agree with that. I did reach out to Selborne Bhangra Club. They are interested in performing a stage dance, so there will be a dance coming from them.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that for me?
It's a Selborne Bhangra Club. It's like one of the folk type of dance.
Yeah.
For,
okay. Yeah, that's no problem. Sure, we'd love to have them.
Exactly. So they are coming up for free. Obviously, they are looking for their interest as well to, publicly recognized by the committee and so on. So that's something that they are interested into that. They haven't committed time slot yet, but knowing them, we had them into the other event. They will definitely provide us at least half an hour slot. I know for sure.
Okay.
Also, I reached out to another local business, which is just by the town hall, and waiting to hear from them as well onto the those performances, and hoping that there won't be any charge for that. But again, that's the update I have it for the entertainment area at this point. Brian, go ahead, and then Jamie.
Sorry, Jamie. Has anyone reached out to any, like, the karate clubs? Like, we used to have them do like demonstrations. Like, I'm just trying to think of things that we can, add, like even the new cricket club. Like, I would like to learn how to play cricket. I don't know how, but I would like, it's something that's interested to, like, could they do like a little demonstration or something like that, just to fill up the day with stuff to go on, right? Like, I don't know what
Right.
I thought.
So I reached out to cricket club actually, like very earlier days, as soon as we started forming our meeting and so on. One of the president of the club basically had mentioned to me about how that's going to conflict with their game that they have it on that day, and then I counter back again with them, like, no, you don't have to have, because they have 4 teams, and then only 2 teams are playing, so the rest of the 2 team members can come out and let people know how what you just said. You'd like to know what's involved and what's in it, right? Just that information, but I haven't heard anything back, but I'll follow up on that for sure, Brian. Crystal, your hand was up. I think I saw it.
Yeah.
Quick, is there a follow-up, anything?
It's just in regards to what Brian had mentioned. I did reach out to Streams, and they do have a few different clubs or like classes. They do like some singing and stuff like that. So when Andrew gets back to me, I can mention that would be a possibility as well.
Perfect, thank you. Brian, you have a follow-up before I go to Jamie?
Crystal, does anyone there do like face painting? Like last year we had a face painter.
That's
like,
on my list to ask Andrew as well. And if no one there does, I am sure Andrew may have other connections to kind of redirect me, even if it's students. So it's on my list to ask Andrew, because he would know.
I know we had Josh Oatman last year, but I don't know him personally, and I think they maybe moved away, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So if someone has his contact too, I don't know. He donated his time, so at least I think he donated it. Alice would know better, or Jamie.
So there is no question follow-up onto that. I'm just gonna pass the floor to Jamie. Jamie had a question, comment?
I was just following up on Councillor Fegan and Len's conversation. Did you folks touch on the DJ? I know that somebody in the car show might have been interested in participating as a DJ. I had someone reach out, like a community member reach out last year in regards to community events, which I could contact them to see if they were available or interested. And then just a second follow up to that, I have a contact with the Taekwondo and can follow up with them as well.
Okay, so I'm just kind of typing 6 different things here. My apologies. So apparently the car show DJ that Kyle had lined up isn't going to happen. I have quite an extensive collection of CDs and have been doing this for a billion years. That's an exaggeration, of course. I'm not that old. So I can fill in all the music as needed. So that would just be in between bands and stuff like that. So worst case scenario, I can provide music for the fireworks and for in between and just afternoon event, kid friendly music. So I promise I won't play the chicken dance or Baby Shark.
No Barbie girl.
No Baby Shark.
No Barbie girl either.
Alex, over to you. I think, Jamie, if you don't have any follow-up, I can pass it through to Alice. Alice, you have a question? You had your
Sorry,
hand up.
I think Len answered it. I was going to ask if he was going to be comfortable being the one that we communicate with for the fireworks. So if he has indicated that he would, so I'll leave that with him and Jamie to coordinate that. But he answered my question.
Yeah.
Thanks.
For the music for the fireworks? Yeah. Okay, sure. Yeah, we talked about a USB stick and all that other stuff, Jamie. So we're good. Yep.
Sounds good. Fantastic. So as Crystal mentioned, is time we need to act and get things sorted out by at least next week meeting. Next week couple of meeting, we must be looking into finalize those area. Having said that, just going to move right on to 4.4F. Once again, Councillor Figan is not here with us to provide us an update onto that. So and Alice, just wondering, did you receive any update regarding the Carso event? Anything that you wanna? No, nothing at all. Okay, right. So we'll just we'll wait until that information comes from Council. 4.5 fireworks. Over to you, Jamie, on that update.
Great. So this will involve perhaps Mr. Len as well. So we've reached out and have been in contact with the fire department, the public works team, as well as Pyro World in order to set up a site visit. So we have that scheduled for next Tuesday. Councillor Figan did want to be a part of the site visit, so I added him in as optional. Now, Mr. Len, if you would like to be a part of that as well, I can extend that invitation to you. We're meeting next Tuesday and I can send you the details.
Hang on, I'm just gonna see if I'm free next Tuesday.
10 o'clock.
That would be the
30th.
30th, 31st.
Tuesday.
Tuesday is the 30th. Yeah, okay. No, hang on. Just give me a sec here. My bad. 29th, 30th.
Just for any sound requirements. If you can't make it, fine.
Yeah. What time of day were you thinking?
10 a.m.
Okay. I won't be able to make 10 a.m. because I have a drive. I could go out later, like later in the day, 3:30ish. But I won't be able to make that. But I think Kyle and I can probably figure out locations and layouts of where things are going to be. I assume the trailer is going to be along the back wall as it has been in the past. Okay. All right. And then we can work with the rest of it from there.
Perfect.
Okay.
Other than
Sounds
that,
good.
I don't have any other updates for fireworks other than we're rolling with just that site plan.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Amy, for that update. Really appreciate that. 4.6 agenda item, social media update. Once again, Crystal has actually mentioned previously, but let's just hear final word from Crystal on her thoughts on putting this this social media post, and how can all we support her in terms of making it more aware to the town itself and residents, basically. So let's hear from Crystal on this.
Yeah, so I guess just to repeat, I do need access to the Facebook page. And I'm not sure when Kyle returns, but I know he did try to do it once, but his connection wasn't great, so it didn't go through. I have enlisted some help in terms of the graphics because I'm not great, so I've had someone offer to help. Len has offered to help me with that, so we can get that going, and it'll be pretty frequently posted after that, starting with, well, needing the sponsors and vendors, but then also depending on, we can ask for the band or entertainment or what have you. And then just as we get things more solidified, posting kind of not teasers, but just information when we have things planned and when we have things more committed, to get people excited about it. And then actually, if you go to Len's counselor page, he did share the post that has been posted. So if you're not friends with me, his counselor page is public now, so you can repost, and that shows the height of my design skills. So I'm very thankful he has offered to help. So that is kind of my update, and yeah.
Great, thank you very much. So we definitely, that's the biggest ask, I know, to bring this event to life. I know we're basically looking at you and your creativity in making that better for everyone to get to know about what's happening within those Canada Day event. But our ask as a committee is to start like send out some teaser message, like we're looking for vendors, or having this is happening on July 1st. We know Keller Williams Fun Zone is there, so we can do something like don't have to name anybody at this point. Maybe we can just do that balloon thing. If we have a picture, we can share that picture out and see this is what's happening and whatnot. So some sort of teaser we need to send out sooner rather than waiting it for last minute, because we wanted to give our sponsor that value of the money that they are investing with us for this event. So definitely we're looking into that as well. Any question for Crystal from anyone here? Perfect. Crystal, you are doing awesome. Great, thank you. With that, we're moving on to new business 5.0, and that's Brian's earlier, I think, suggestion is to have an accessible parking spot at the event. So Alice, can you help me form this? How do I move on to this, or what can you discuss on this?
So I just wanted to make sure we had a conversation about it, as it was brought up at the previous meeting. I know when Jamie was out there with, was it Brad earlier, Jamie, that you were looking at things, and what you had indicated to me, I'm just going to share this again real quick, was that the suggestion that the accessible parking be to, I'm not sure what direction this is facing, but towards the top of the screen, just above the Keller Williams zone, that the accessible parking be in that square loop of the driveway area there. That is what staff are proposing for accessible parking. It'll be close to the Keller Williams zone. It'll be close to where the vendors would end up being, and away from the fireworks. So that is on our radar. We just wanted to make sure that you were aware of it. it's on our radar, and if there were any other comments or questions relating to that.
Sorry, Brian, go ahead. Sorry.
Can you put that back up, Alice? Sorry. So we have to have a spot for the emergency vehicles so they can get in and out. So because if Keller Williams is like where Keller Williams is, that's where they usually park their fire truck and ambulance. I'm assuming they would have to use that driveway there by the little building, so they have access.
No driveways will be blocked with the parking. No driveways will be blocked.
So I just don't know where we'd put the fire trucks and stuff like that if they have to get out. So. Yeah. Sorry, that was my question.
So I would just comment, if we leave all of the parking surrounding the kitchen building there, yeah, exactly. Those spots for the accessible spaces, and then basically on that flip side of the driveway, where that swale continues on, if that's dedicated area for the emergency services, and keeping that blocked off. Again, depending on how the car show wants to run, it could be different this year, especially with the entertainment activities going on in the Keller Williams zone and where that's located. Instead of having car show folks come through that way to park, perhaps everybody parks down that second driveway where the public parking is. If you're a car show, you'd go continue up that driveway a little bit further towards that fireworks section, and kind of funnel them in through there. Again, it's up to the committee to kind of determine where you want things, but it just seemed that that might be a good idea, keeping that accessible spots, all of that parking around there, and any, volunteer, committee member or anyone involved with the actual event parks in the public parking section. So that leaves that access for any accessible folks. But if that wants to be changed or you have a better idea, that's completely fine.
Team, any suggestions, any thoughts? Not at this point. I believe we're waiting for, in my understanding is we're waiting for the car zone space update, I guess. Until then, I think we can just table this for now, and then we can regroup it back together and just finalize where things going to be. But Allison, Jamie, thanks for your expertise, and that suggestion is definitely very valuable. Moving on to 5.2, advertising for event. And I believe at this point we just have one form that came back and yet to be finalized, I guess. Alice, is that correct? Is that what you refer when you said
no, for advertising, I'm looking at how the committee wants to advertise the event. Like, so the newspaper ad, the flyers, if you want to do something on the radio, and if so, who is creating said flyer and advertisement?
Wouldn't that be Crystal, since he's in the social media?
That will be Crystal and team, if that is the case. You'll get sick
Crystal, Brian actually volunteering himself, so over to you, Brian.
I do believe Kyle said that he was going to make the flyer at the last meeting that he was at. So I do believe Kyle said that. He made it last year too, so I assume he's just going to take what he already has and revamp it a bit.
Because we really want to start advertising ASAP, right? So
yes.
I just wanted to make sure it was on the radar, so I'll just make a note to double check with Kyle when he's back next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, Crystal. I know you were taking everything you can to support this event. I really appreciate that. Having said that, it is the time, unless there's any new business, anyone have anything that they would like to add, this is an opportunity that we can take new business. Alice, go ahead, and then Brian.
Cheryl actually had her hand up first, so I'll wait until the committee members are finished.
Perfect. Cheryl, Brian, and then Alice.
I do have a suggestion. Crystal was going to be talking to Andrew, and I believe he has town teas. Is that right?
Yes.
So I was thinking that maybe it would be good if we could see if he would maybe provide us with T-shirts for Canada Day so that people would know who the committee is. Just a suggestion.
I can definitely talk to him about it.
Yes, see what he says. Like that way the people in the town would know who the Canada Day committee are. So that's just my suggestion.
The committee could choose to purchase those T-shirts with their budget. If they felt they
Yes.
had enough in their budget, the committee could choose to purchase those.
Exactly, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'll absolutely ask.
Jimmy, do you have a follow-up or? Yeah, okay, go ahead.
I would just add that I know that volunteership was kind of touched on last meeting, but in terms of who of the committee is actually going to be on site that day and what volunteers and how many are going to be on site, that should be a conversation or something that the committee is thinking of, is who's going to be there to actually support and run the event.
Just to follow up on Jamie's, if I may, I did send the volunteer information for both that event, the Canada Day event, as well as the, the Fridays in the Park event to the high school. Haven't heard anything back yet, but I think volunteers were encouraged to go directly to the town site or to put their names together and deal with the town that way. Does that make sense?
Is that how we had it in past, Alice, or Alice, would you advise on that?
I wasn't involved last year. I can't speak to previous years. Sorry, I don't know.
No worries.
I can follow up with the people I sent the invitations to and just at the high school and see if there's any interest.
Perfect. Yeah, that would be definitely. Yeah. Definitely. Brian, you have a question, comment, follow up?
Just kind of new something new last year. So we had buckets for donations, trying to get people to give donations. We got, I think we got about $350. If I'm not sure if that's exact right or not, but we didn't have any volunteers last year to help really collect anything. So that's kind of something that we definitely need to have, is people there to collect money for donations. The other thing I was thinking about is a lot of people park on the side of the road to watch the fireworks. Maybe we should be having some people go up and down the side of the road trying to get some money from the people because they all think they have to pay to come in and park. And maybe we just need to have a sign saying free parking, something like that. But a lot of people just sit on the side of the road to watch the fireworks because they don't want to donate money or whatever. And I know that was a problem with the police. They don't like that you're sitting on the side of the road there. So it's maybe just something we need to discuss in the next meeting, or unless someone has ideas now. That's all I was bringing up.
Crystal?
So I had messaged Sue and she just got back to me. The Egg Center does need a letter from us requesting their tables or assistance of some kind. So she needs a letter to bring to the board. I'm not sure where I get such a thing. If someone can direct me on that.
Crystal, as vice chair, you can write one.
Actually, okay, cool, awesome. The more you know. Secondly, I don't know if there's any kind of official request for this. Are we able to collect for the food bank at the event? Okay, that was the only question I received about our.
So the reason we can't collect for the food bank is the town has already given money to the food bank. And so if the food, and then it would be who would be responsible for the food, who was going to watch the food, who's going to just, if the committee chose, they could offer a booth to the food bank and the booth could man it, the food bank could man a booth and the food bank can choose to collect donations. But since we're already trying to get donations for fireworks, it would not be recommended to be asking for two different sets of donations.
Okay, cool.
And just following on that, in terms of our grant funding, we can't say that you must bring something or it has to be free general public admission. So although things could be asked, if you can, sure, but it has to remain a free event with no stipulations.
And nothing on the advertising indicating we're collecting donations.
Brian, you have a follow-up?
Last year, Go With Crow, I think is their name that they use. They got Canadian flags that they gave out to everyone and some glow sticks.
So they're part of the Keller Williams group now.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if they're planning on doing that or not. Is that something that we need to address? Like, should we have something like that? Like, I know years ago, Andrew at Giant Tiger, I think, donated all the flags, I think. But I'm not sure if that's still a thing or not. I'm not sure. I know we had the little flags to give out to everyone last year, and I'm not sure if we should be, as a committee then, if we don't have someone doing that, should we be looking at that?
I guess we can definitely circle back those requests into at the next meeting. But until then, I guess we can definitely, as an individual, we can start looking into that area as well and see if there's any opportunity for someone that we can get that support as well. So something that we can take as a whole group rather than individual. Any other new business? I believe Alice, you had, yes, go ahead, Alice.
I do apologize to the committee. I forgot to put under the retail zone the ATM update that you had asked for from Jamie, and she does have an update on that. So I wanted to make sure that the committee got that tonight and made their decision on that. So if it's okay with you, can Jamie give her ATM update?
Please go ahead, Jamie.
Amazing. So essentially, I followed up with the two providers, just asking, hey, do you still have an ATM available? With the events being planned between 3 p.m. and 10 p.m. If we move forward with your provider, can you drop off and pick up at a requested time? And then following up on if they could provide any insight in terms of transactions that they're seeing at other events on Canada Day. For the one provider with Debit Express, we also wanted to know from him just a confirmation that cash would be provided and what that transaction fee would look like. So I'll start with ATM for Canada. He followed up saying we do still have ATMs and a kiosk available for Canada Day. Drop off is not a problem. Pickup might be delayed as they have to pick up machines from other municipalities. But if we have an hour window, they would be able to schedule us in. And they then indicated that usually 10% of the people passing in front of the ATM will use it. The more cash-only activities or merchandise you have, obviously, the more transactions you'll look to see. He didn't tell me the scale of events, but just basically said Canada Day celebrations usually see anywhere from $10,000 to $2,000 being withdrawn. So that was with ATM for Canada. From P to Debit Express, he basically kind of said the same sentiment in terms of, you know, depending on what activities you have at the event will determine how much cash is being withdrawn. In terms of his setup, he would have all the cash supplied. I believe I indicated last time he would bring his two. He would actually be the one there for the full event. So he would come at our time, be there and remove accordingly. And then for that transaction fee, so he indicated that it would be a $3.50 fee. So the committee gets $1 out of that. Essentially, $2.50 goes to the machine and $1 would go back to the committee, but similar to the other provider, if we wanted to increase that, we could as well. So I believe the costs were exactly the same for the transactions. So yeah, it just depends on what provider you want to go with and any additional questions that I could answer there.
So floor, I'd like to open the floor for discussion on ATM transactions and so on. Right?
So I think the last guy there that Jamie said, sorry, I can't remember his name, Jamie. But because we don't really have any vendors and no beer gardens and anything like that, I don't think this is the year to do it, to spend that extra money, because what are people going to use money for other than give maybe a donation to us or buying food at the food trucks, if whatever comes. But because we don't have any commitment really yet, and we're only a month out, I don't know how much more we're going to get. But I definitely, like next year, if we have a beer gardens and stuff like that, I definitely think that we should definitely go ahead with something like that.
Any other thoughts? Thanks, Brian. Anyone from committee would like to share their opinion? Crystal?
I was just going to kind of reiterate what Brian said. I'm not sure it's the return on that investments there this year. We have a lot of verbal commitments, but even then, until we kind of know more solidly, it's hard to commit to something like that. So I agree with Brian.
Thank you, Crystal. Councilor Lynn, your thought on this?
Other than the fact that everything is in flux right now, and anything that, like I said, worst case scenario conversations I've had with Kyle have been, we're kind of moving in our direction as far as a subcommittee goes. There won't be an empty stage per se. We're still kind of working on the tying up some final loose ends. Like I said, hindsight being 2020, we should have been kind of on this in January for bands and entertainment and what have you, but we will press on.
Shirley, your thought on this?
Yes, I agree with Brian as well. Like, it's no use spending the money on a ATM because we don't really have the commitment from a lot of people right now. Like, if we had a full field of vendors and food trucks, yes, that would be great, and beer gardens, but because we don't, you know, focus on something else, right? And then plan for this next year. Go gung ho for next year.
Amy, your thoughts on this?
I agree with what everyone else is saying.
Right. So I'm hearing, sorry, Alice, go ahead.
So I was just going to say, since the committee requested Jamie to look into it and she has received quotes from 2 vendors, if I could ask that the committee make a formal resolution of their decision to postpone something to the effect to decide not to have an ATM vendor at the 2023 event, but to reconsider for the 2024 event. That way, with a formal resolution, she can take it back to those that she has reached out to, and hopefully they will still consider being a vendor next year.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I was going to ask you the same question, like, is there any motion that we need to carry in this regard? So what I'm collectively hearing that this moment, we're in a situation where we're not sure how many vendors will have it, and so the activities and so on. So we'd like to move this agenda item to the next year. Basically, hopefully we'll start planning it earlier and have all those area ticked in the time. So I would like to propose that to the Alice's request, be it resolved that Canada Day Committee collectively agree on, Alice, you can help me on that, but collectively agree on moving, or can you help me, Alice? Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I'm
Did you help?
typing and I couldn't hit unmute and type at the same time. So that the Canada Day Committee collectively agrees to not have an ATM vendor at the 2023 event, but to reconsider it for the 2024 Canada Day event.
All right, so can I have someone to make a motion? That's Brian. Crystal seconded. All in favor? Me. Perfect. Motion carried. So Jamie, you can. I thank you very much for your valuable time and getting those information and bringing back to us. Really appreciate that. So if there's no further matter on to discuss, I'd like to adjourn the meeting. Be it resolved that the Canada Day Committee now adjourn to reconvene the call of the chair. Can I have someone to make a motion? Crystal, seconded by Brian, and all in favor. I thank you very much for all your hard work this far, and then definitely a couple more weeks, a couple more meetings that we have it. But again, the energy that I'm feeling it's going to be wonderful. So thank you all for what you do it. Do reach out to those contact back again and gain their commitment and make sure Alice and team they do get that forms from the vendor and so on. So I thank you once again. Good night, and I shall see you sometime in person. I guess I wanted to eager to see all of you, meet all of you then, I guess, before the Canada event. Thank you.